So you ever notice how easy it is to build an app these days? Like, stupidly easy. You could code something in Lovable over the weekend, ship it, get users, and then you hit this wall, the money wall. Here's the thing. Adding payments to your app is not like building a UI. You can't just prompt add a paywall and hope for the best, because monetization isn't just about collecting credit card numbers. It's about entitlements. And entitlements is just a fancy word for who paid, who gets what, and how do you keep track of everything without breaking everything. And if you don't get entitlements right, you end up with users who paid but can't access those paid features, or you have users who didn't pay but can access those paid features. I'm not sure which one is worse, but both are honestly a nightmare to deal with. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to add payments, subscriptions, and proper entitlement management to your app in literally 5 minutes using Lightswitch. No spending days prompting your way through payment flows only to break the entire app. No more copy pasting sketchy code from Reddit threads. We are going to make monetization feel a lot less scary. Let's get started. All right, so here is our game plan. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take an existing app. In this case, it's an astrology app called Aster. We actually built it in another video, and we're going to monetize it from scratch. Specifically, here is what we are going to do. Step 1, I'm going to show you the app as it exists right now. There's no paywall, no Stripe. It's a completely free and open app, just a normal, lovable project connected to Supabase with some basic auth. Step 2, we're going to connect Lightswitch to our Supabase backend. Step 3, we're going to set up our pricing. For this, we'll go with something super simple, a basic $3 a month subscription, nothing fancy. Step 4, we will then connect to Stripe in test mode so we can actually process payments, but again, in a testing environment. And then finally, step 5, here is where it gets cool. So we're going to get a single prompt from Lightswitch and paste that into Lovable. And then Lovable is going to wire up the entire paywall and entitlement logic for us. Let's get started. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Sunny. I'm a serial founder now on my 4th startup, a former senior engineer at Bloomberg and Shopify, and currently an adjunct professor at Columbia Business School, where I teach tech. Listen, I've been building software for over 15 years, well before AI, and I've made all the mistakes so you don't have to. My goal for this video, and really all my videos, is to help you get your idea out into the world. I want to get started with our first step, but I will make this one disclaimer. I am the co-founder and CTO of Lightswitch, so what I'm about to share with you is my own product. I'd love to hear your feedback. Let's get started with our first step. So first things first, what is Lightswitch? So simply put, Lightswitch makes it stupidly easy to monetize your app in seconds. Now, here's why this matters. I see this pattern all the time with people who are building apps with AI tools like Lovable or Cursor. They build this awesome little product, could be a recipe app, could be a meal planner, could be an astrology app like the one we're about to review, and it all works great. People love it, but then they get to that monetization part and they completely stall. Because monetization is this big scary project, right? Like your ChatGPTing Stripe integrations, you're copy pasting auth flows from Reddit, you're spending hours debugging error messages. And in my view, this is where a lot of side projects die. Because you can vibe code UIs, you could totally vibe code animations, you can even vibe code some backend logic, but payments are different. Here's a larger point I want to make. Monetization is not something you should leave fully to pure vibe coding. When you are handling real money from real people, you need to get it right. You can't just prompt your way through a Stripe integration and hope for the best. It's just way too easy to accidentally leak API keys, mishandle subscription cancellations, or build a paywall that just feels sketchy and untrustworthy. And here's my broader take. Using trusted providers is a good approach here. That way you're not reinventing the wheel. You're not accidentally shipping something that's going to bite you later. If you want to actually charge real humans real money, solid infrastructure matters. All right, let's keep moving. All right, so this is the Lovable project that we built in the previous video. We built this astrology app called Aster. It's super simple. Let me actually click around a little bit to show you. So we have a super simple Auth flow that's provided to us with Lovable, integrated into Supabase. Let me log in really quick. So super simple. You could see your daily horoscope. You can switch signs, and then you can click and reveal what the sign is. Here is our backend, so we can see all the different tables. We have horoscopes, horoscope readings, profiles. These are all the different users in our application. And here's a key point I want you to understand. There's no paywall right now. There's no Stripe set up. There is no subscription logic. Anyone can basically sign up and use this application. And this is where a lot of vibe-coded apps I see get stuck. You know, you build a thing, you ship it, people start using it, and you realize, oh crap, I have to now actually figure out a way to charge money for this. And that is the problem that we are trying to solve today. Okay, cool. So now that we have a general sense of the app that we'll be monetizing, let's set up Lightswitch. So I want to just go over the setup process with Lightswitch really quick. So here's the 4 steps that we'll be following. First, we'll be connecting our backend, Supabase, to Lightswitch. Then we'll be setting up our price. Then we connect to Stripe. And then finally, we'll copy our one Lightswitch generated prompt into Lovable. That's it. Let's get started with step 1. All right, so step 1 is connecting our backend, Supabase, to Lightswitch. So I'm going to kick this onboarding off by clicking continue. I'm then going to connect Supabase and then select the specific project that, well, first I'm going to grant access to Lightswitch, and then we are going to select the specific project that we want to integrate with. All right, so I'm selecting the project. In this case, it's going to be Aster, and then we're going to hit continue. All right, so next step, super simple. We're going to set up our pricing. I don't have a privacy policy or terms of service yet, but once I do, I can actually populate that here. Let's actually go with this color over here for like what the paywall and the login flow we want to look like. So we'll hit continue, and then now we actually go ahead and set up our pricing. So we set a $3 monthly subscription. So super simple, very, very simple. So now we're going to hit continue. Okay, great. So before we actually connect to Stripe, we can decide if we want to include Apple Pay or Stripe's link payment method. Let's include both. Why not? So now we're on step 3, which is connecting Stripe. Now, for this demo, I'm going to use Stripe's test mode because I don't want to really actually charge real money just yet during this tutorial. So, but the process is exactly the same, whether we're in test mode or whether we're in live mode. So what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to set up a Stripe account through Lightswitch. It's a pretty basic process, asking all the usual things needed to actually start collecting real money. So I'm going to go through that process right now. All right, so I've now completed all the steps for Stripe. I'm going to go ahead and hit agree and submit. So now I've created the Stripe account that is needed to actually collect and process payments. All right, cool. So here is where it gets really cool. So Lightswitch right now has basically generated a prompt for us that we're going to go ahead and copy and paste into Lovable. And then Lovable will go ahead and wire up the full integration and entitlements system for us. So what we see here is Lightswitch has generated this prompt, and we'll go ahead and copy this and paste this into Lovable. This should take a minute or two. So let's see what happens on the other side. All right, so it's done. Now let's just check to see how it's been integrated. So what I'm going to do is click Start My Ritual again. And what this does, it goes to a Lightswitch hosted sign up form. So Lightswitch will provide you with a very clean, trustworthy, performant sign up form here. So let's actually go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a new account. Let's say 7555@gmail.com. And what we're going to do is we'll sign up. And then if we look at the backend, we'll actually see that the user has been populated in our Supabase table. And then we are hit with our paywall. So in this case, it's our $3 a month subscription that we just created, including the colors that we selected during onboarding. So now this will generate an actual Stripe payment form, which is great. I'm going to put in my test card credentials here. Okay, great. So this has been done, and now we go back to our application. We are now logged in, and now we have access to our premium features. Fantastic. That is the full loop. The user signs up, they hit a paywall, they subscribe via the Stripe checkout. Entitlements, everything else is automatically handled by Lightswitch, so you don't have to, and we did the whole thing in just a couple of minutes. So now that we went through our payment experience, I want to make another point. When someone is about to give you their credit card, they are looking for trust signals. They are asking themselves, is this legit? Am I going to get charged and then nothing happens? Is my card information safe? And here's the thing, if your payment flow feels janky or homemade, even if it technically works, people will bounce. A payment screen that looks like that you cobbled it together in an afternoon, that makes people nervous, and nervous people don't convert. That's why using a platform like Lightswitch is a good idea, because all that stuff has been figured out for you. People recognize that familiar payment flow. They've seen it 1,000 times. It just feels safe. And Lightswitch makes it possible for your app to have that professional, trustworthy experience without having to build it yourself. Because at the end of the day, you can have the coolest app, the most impressive or useful app in the world, but if people don't trust your payment flow, they're not paying. And that's a conversion problem you do not want to have. Okay, great. So now we have our full product working with a payment flow. We can start making money on this product. Let's wrap up this video. So that's the full Lightswitch flow. We took an existing app, we connected it to Lightswitch, we set up pricing, we connected Stripe, and then we copied one prompt into Lovable, and bam, we have a fully functional paywall and subscription system. Now, here's what I want you to do. Take one of your projects, could be something you built in Lovable, could be something you built in Cursor, doesn't matter, and add monetization to it using Lightswitch. Spend 5 minutes, get the basic flow working, and then start charging. And then once you do that, drop your projects in the comments below or tag me on Twitter. I want to see what you're building and how you're monetizing it. And here's the broader lesson. Shipping an app is very, very easy today. Monetizing it, though, should not be the part that blocks you. Vibe coders deserve a clean, trustworthy, safe way to make money from the things that they build. And that's exactly what Lightswitch gives you. So I'm actually going to be doing a lot more videos on monetization patterns, pricing experiments, usage-based billing, and all that kind of stuff. So that interests you, hit that subscribe button. If you stuck around till the end of this video, I appreciate you. I will see you on the next one.